Hey everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus with some Pioneer for you this afternoon. We are attempting to port a deck that I've recently been working on in Historic, Fires of Invention, Grixis Cavaliers, to Pioneer from Historic. As a friendly reminder, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, and leaving a constructive comment down below. So the theory behind why to play Grixis over something like Jeskai or Teamer is you have a little more interaction against the current climate of combo decks in the Pioneer format in the form of Inverter and Lotus Breach. You have Thought Erasure in the main deck, and then you have, in addition to Agonizing Remorse and Unmoored Ego in the sideboard, as well as a couple Mystical Disputes and then Goblin Rabble Master to be able to speed up your clock. When you're playing a card like Fires of Invention, you're not as able to hold up counterspells, obviously, because once you slam your fires, you're not able to hold up instant speed interaction during your opponent's turn. So the theoretical thing you do with this one is you load up more on discard. You could easily run something like Thoughtseize, but the reason I'm not running Thoughtseize is this is not much of a combo or early combo deck, so you don't have much to do before turn 2 anyway, and you have quite a few tap lands in the form of Fabled Passages and such. So I think it's just potentially easier to run Thought Erasure. Also helps you with the Surveil to dig towards your Fires of Invention or the Cavaliers are missing. Maybe this is supposed to be Thoughtseize, only time will tell. Obviously, 1 mana interaction versus 2 mana interaction is very relevant, somewhat relevant in this format, less so than in Modern, but still very nice to have access to 1 mana interaction, so maybe this is supposed to be Thoughtseize and Thought Erasures in the sideboard, as opposed to Agonizing Remorse. Beyond that, take advantage of the adventure creatures like Bone Crusher Giant and Murderous Rider, kind of bridge you into the mid-game, where you're able to drop a Fires of Invention and, say, a Sweltering Sun, Sphinx of the Foresight, or Nicol Bolas the Ravager, one of the other big upsides to playing the Black Splash over, say, Jeskai. This version is probably significantly weaker to aggro than your typical Jeskai. Fires of Invention deck was in Standard, or even Historic. You're trading that for a little bit more interaction against combo in the form of Thought Erasure, other discard spells, and then access to things like Unmoored Ego. So I'm not saying this deck will be good or playable, it's just a lot of fun. I enjoy the play patterns of the Jeskai version in Standard, and we had a fairly successful run with the version in Historic, so we're going to see if this can port to the much larger card pool of Pioneer. That said, let's get into some matches. Here for match number 1, we'll be on the play, which is always good. Hand's a little bit awkward, but we have the double Sphinx of Foresight hand, so definitely going to Random Drooler. Played against this player before. Don't know what they're on, but we have played against them before. Do recognize the name. So we have a little bit of early interaction. Looking for Fires of Invention, looking for a 4th land drop. That to the bottom, put that to the bottom. On top, the Sphinx to the bottom, Temple to the bottom, and then the Sea on top. Losing a little bit of value here, but okay, so good to kill the elf here. Looks like they're on the green-black Stompy deck, maybe? Lucky Ballista for 1, sure, whatever. Not particularly relevant to what we're doing. Hopefully, well, it's possible we should have played Omen in the Sea here because we really want to hit our 4th land drop. Okay. Looking for Fires of Invention. Hand's looking kind of awkward right now. It's possible I was supposed to keep some of these land drops. So Sweltering Suns would be kind of nice here. A lot of cards that were just pretty close to end the game. They're going to choose to proliferate. So hardened scales of some style. Okay. So the question becomes, what am I supposed to do here? We'll just play a Cavalier, digging a little bit deeper in their deck. Okay, there's the Fires. There's the lands, looking at that erasure and a land. I think I was supposed to actually leave that on top of my deck just in case they have Thoughtseize in their deck. Sure. All right. Pitch that. What else do we pitch? So I can't cast anything else this turn anyway. Sure. I should stack the experimental triggers first, and then that one, or the evolve triggers first, then the thing. Sure. Ballista to finish it off. Upkeep. Definitely didn't want to draw either one of those. Sinks of Foresight. Let's get that out of the way. And we're losing the Bone Crusher Giant, but I'm fine with getting that Walking Ballista off the board. Okay. Still on the random beatdown plan. Sure. Cavalier of Flames, that's probably good enough here. So that is 12 damage. Is that enough to force a trade? I think it is. Alright, and hope top of their deck is kind. Alright, got there in game number 1 against, looks to be maybe a Hardened Scales build a deck. Probably interested in the Kalidases, Ritual of Soot, and the Lava Coils. Cards that aren't as interesting. These thought erasures are decent, but not great. Bone Crusher Giant kind of moves down the curve a little bit. And then maybe trim the Cavalier of Gales, shave on the top end a little bit. I think this hand's good enough, even. Well, they could have Thoughtseize, which obviously makes anything we keep on top. This is one of those hands that you're just like, do I keep this hand with a scry, basically 6? Sure. Okay, you have a Thoughtseize. Alright, well that's... And War Elves is much scarier for them on the play. Bottom. 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 Wow. Guess we're just not supposed to draw lands here. Okay, sure. Problem is we're not playing anything before turn 4 realistically, so yep, there's a Hardened Scales, sure. Okay. Lista for 3. Bone Crusher Giant, Fires of Invention. I don't think either one of these are what we're looking for here. Lava Coil's decent. At least allows us to slow down the turn. Yeah, that's fine. Well, fine-ish. We're still going to take a beating next turn. Yep. Okay, and then take down, I presume? Yep. And the beatings will commence. Alright, turn 4-1. Seems pretty decent. I mean, we're going to get there anyway. That hand was a bit of a... That hand was a very large gamble. not gonna sit here and mince words. That hand was very speculative, just on the backs of the Fires of Invention and the Scries. So this hand's okay. We have turn 3 Sweltering Suns plus a Scry plus potential interaction. So. Wowzers. So I think I'm interested in all of these cards. The question is... Okay, experimental 1. One constrictor. Wanting Constrictor alone warrants that. So, fortunately, it's only a 1-for-1. Yep, Hardened Scales into Lista, sure. Cast Fires, but then the question becomes, what are we casting afterwards? I think we just cast Swift End on that. So we're taking 2 either way. Guess we're taking 3 this way, which kind of sucks. Guess they don't want us to do the thing. Sure. Cletus, go. Still hold back. Sure. Scry 1. It's a pretty good one. Seem to have a land drop here. Time to start ending this game before any complete nonsense can happen. Alright, and got there in our first match with Grixis Cavaliers. We are back for match number 2. So I'd love to play first. I think this hand's just too clunky. We have the fires, but no way to scry a third and fourth land, so I think this hand's just a mulligan. This hand is much more interesting, at least. Is it? So, double Thought Erasure, which I can't cast. I think we mulligan this hand as well. At least we can cast the spells in this hand, right? So put back Cavalier of Flames and Fabled Passage. Try like that. Our adventure creatures can carry us to long enough to draw this mess. It's one of the things about this deck is it does not mulligan particularly well. Alright, blue white control. Well, most likely blue white control. I guess it could theoretically be now this is a threat. Fairy Bounce. Beginning of the Trials, sure. Since attacking. Alright, I guess we could theoretically draw out of this, right? Just cast this. Sure. What do you do with that? Put a seed in the graveyard and still didn't draw land. Alright, just hold up Sweltering Suns and able to get a red source here, which is nice. The opportunity to cycle that. So what card is likely to resolve here? Around Censor. If they have Mystical Dispute, we're getting tagged by something anyway. Alright, Brainstorm. Sweltering Suns as the first card. Bone Crusher, I guess, is the next card. Okay, cycle a cast out, sure. Dig through time? Okay. Go ahead and do this. To ferry, Dovin's veto. So, what do we take here is the interesting question. Fortunately, can't take the Teferis. Supreme Verdict's annoying, but whatever. Alright, I guess we take away seal away down to 3. So their hand left is veto, absorb, bunch counter spells. I guess if they have to tap out for something here, it's fine, whatever. It has to answer this Cavalier in some way. All right. So they didn't even see the fact that we were a Fires of Invention deck. Interesting. So these Sweltering Suns can probably come out. Probably want these Goblin Rabble Masters. Rabble. Agonizing Remorses and Mystical Disputes. Guess theoretically could bring in Unmoored Ego. Does feel a little sketch though. Go down these. Used to have so many ways to answer fires. The question becomes, am I supposed to bring in Unmoored Ego? Because there's a lot of cards. I think that's just too cute, right? I think we're just supposed to be as aggressive as possible. It's possible we're supposed to leave in some number of fires, but like, what cards am I boarding out? I want all my threats. I want my discard spells. I want my few counter spells. One, two, three, 4 lands. I think we keep this. Is there anything on 2 we particularly care about? Don't think so. Alright, the sea is certainly a card. Yeah, not fighting over him in the sea, that's for sure. Okay, sure. What are the odds this Rabble Master resolves? I'm gonna see, huh? Alright, put everything up to 17. Sure. Mr. Sabotage, Dream Troller. So I could take 2 of the long game cards, or I could just take Supreme Verdict. Don't think we particularly care about so they currently don't have let's just hold up a Mystical Dispute here. Okay, that's mildly annoying. Don't think this will bait it out, but hey, you never know. Grab a red source here. So if they're smart, they just let that resolve. Don't need double black for any reason, so that's whatever. Good to crack their omen. Sure. So their hand is currently 2 counter spells and a Dream Trawler and a Pear Tree. Alright, so let's do this. Put that to the bottom. Go ahead and do this. Do that. Surprised they use Mystical Dispute there. Alright, sure. Last card is Sinister Sabotage, huh? Sure. I guess I should have left land on top, huh? Sure. Cavalier of Gales, huh? Our opponent has to answer this as well. So now they have Sabotage in hand. Alright, got there against Blue White Control. Alright, on to the next match. Back for the third match on the draw. This hand's just too slow. 4 lands and fires is nice, but feel like we can potentially do better. This hand's fine. Back Malice, I guess. Hopefully. So the Shram Auras deck. Not really sure what that deck all entails, honestly. Shram. What are we even looking for here? Fires, obviously. Alright, do the scrying thing. I think we put that one to the bottom because our deck has a lot of lands in it. So they cast Shram. Shram is dying this turn. All it glitters is mildly annoying. Alright, so Sentinel's Eyes, Griffspan. Don't know there's actually a particularly good one here to take. Just kind of stack everything up on one dude and kill us, right? I think in the end we're just kind of dead. Sure. Like, what is even our out here? Yeah, sure. Turn 4 kill, sure. So the question becomes, what do we bring in here? The answer is the Daily Double. Deedly 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 deedly. Bring in these guys. Guess we can cut them into the sea. Could potentially bring in Kalidas, but I don't really feel like that's that great. Could bring in Agonizing Remorse. Especially on the play, that might be more appealing. Question is, what do we cut? Sweltering Suns gets outsized pretty quickly. A lot of these cards we need to have like right at the point in time where they're good, so try it like this. Bring in the discard spells with to blow up the curve. This hand's already kind of a mulligan, so alright, this hand's reasonable. Put back Castle of Antris. Opponent unfortunately kept 7. So we're looking for... Am I looking for all those? 1, 2... So... that on top, that on top, that on top. Place that into play tapped. Yep, if the light on, sure. We start with Agonizing Remorse. Griffspoon, Ethereal Armor, yeah. Okay, that one's annoying. That one's annoying. Ethereal Armor. So if they just cast Ephemia, we get to take one of their dudes. Alicia, it's kind of annoying. Just take Ethereal Armor here. Certainly could be wrong. Yep, Cartouche, sure. We're going to bottom that. Yep. For the 4/4. Okay, sure. Other Erasure is kind of a dead card here, I think. Yeah. I have to leave. Well, she has to be there by 11. Pretty sure we're dead here. So I could block here, kill something, theoretically not die, and rip I have a one-outer, unfortunately. And I still got to draw a bunch of cards. Sweltering Suns ain't gonna do it. Alright, just playing lost to Shram Auras, but that's what happens when you need Ritual of Soot and you're playing Sweltering Suns as your main sweeper. On to the next match. Back for the fourth match here. We'll be on the play, which is nice. Scry. I think we keep this hand. It's pretty good against quite a few decks. Little Epiphany into Swamp. Kind of hard to scry when we don't exactly know what we're looking for. We can safely put that to the bottom. Okay, we're about to get Thought Seized. Of course we are, because, you know, probably lose our Thought Erasure here. Yep. Thought Seize, your Thought Seize. So I'm going to guess Inverter, because I don't really think... yeah, definitely Inverter. I was going to say, I don't particularly think Inverter would care about Sweltering Suns, whereas whatchamacallit would 1000% care about it. Narset's an interesting one. Main deck Narset at that. Drown in the Lock, huh? Eagle Bolus. So does our opponent have Inverter? Dig through time. Okay. Don't really think particularly matters, because they probably have the kill lined up, right? Sure. Nope. We are not discarding anything this turn. Why wouldn't you have cast Jace last turn? Okay. Seems interesting. Definitely want Unmoored Ego. Definitely interested in Agonizing Remorse. Probably interested in these Mystical Disputes. Definitely not interested in these Sweltering Suns. Probably go down some number of Cavalier of Flames as well, because that's really embarrassing in the face of Narset. Guess we could go down all the Cavaliers and just bring in Rabble Masters. Definitely a match I wanted to test, I guess. 2, 3 lands. Yeah, I guess. Cast our spells. Looking for, well, keep the 4th land on top, special one helps us cast all of our spells. Pack Rat, sure. Cute. Glad we didn't stomp main phase. Sure. Pack Rat plan. Okay. Sure. Get to take a look at their hand. Thassa's Oracle Inverter. It's the rest of their hand. Opt Thassa's Oracle. Inverter. Truth. Get a pretty good look at how they sideboard. Yay. Alright, so some Jaceven Prodigies. Drawn the lock. So do not want another Fires of Invention. Okay, it's one of their draws. Inverter. Jace is annoying, but it's going to die, so I guess in the end it only kind of matters. No reason not to run that out there. Just curious how they actually plan to win. Most of their win cons are actually gone, except for Jace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Most of their counter spells are completely useless. Yep. There's a Verni. Is that lethal? Pretty sure that's lethal, right? Alright. Now that our opponent knows what we're doing, we have a better idea of what they're doing. Question becomes is, do I bring in more removal? 2 Sweltering Suns back in. Board out 2 Rabble Masters on the draw. Can't keep this hand, unfortunately. Opponent's also mulliganing. Howsers. Opponent keeps their 6. I don't think we can keep this hand, can we? Like, if we don't hit lands, we're in a lot of trouble. We really need interaction. I guess we keep... Put a card on bottom. Guess one of the fires. Alright, at least they didn't have a tremendously fast start, although Pack Rat could be extremely annoying. Alright, so... Thought Erasure Fires. I think as great as those cards are... Blood Crypt, Murderous Rider. Please don't have Pack Rat. Please don't have Pack Rat. Okay, Thought Erasure I can deal with. Probably take fires here. Maybe, maybe not. Without fires, half of our hand becomes uncastable. Card on top of their library. Could really use a blue source. Bone Crusher Giant. That is a tempting one, but I think we gotta put that one on the bottom. So I think if they had Pack Rat, they would have Pack Ratted. Taking Rebel Master here, most likely. Okay. Blue. Hero's Downfall? Sure. I will gladly take the 2 for 1. So what was their last card in hand? Why would you keep the island? Doesn't make sense. Okay, there's the Jace. Guess in the end it... Verter of Truth. Change how they're sideboarded. Not really. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of cards to look at, unfortunately. We might just lose the value battle here. Yep, bronze. Jace Bronze Prodigy. this out, but I think we're just going to get outvalued. So, you can also interesting one. Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting mix of stuff. Don't think we're in great shape, that's for sure. What are we looking for here? Why would you thought seize us? Doesn't make any sense. Alright, so they get to win the game. Sure. We're now 2-2. On to the fifth match. We are back for the fifth match here in this league. I think this hand is a keep. Fabled Passage. Interesting. Father Erasure, Sphinx of Foresight, Murderous Rider. That to the bottom, that to the top, that to the top. Have a feeling this is the kind of match we're going to want. 2 copies of Father Erasure. Alright, feels like the inverter match again. Feels like inverter. Is not inverter. Instead, it is a Thoughtseize deck, which means Fire's Invention is probably gone. Maybe. Yep. Curious what our opponent is playing then. We'll do blue and black and Scavenging Ooze, Scavenging Ooze. So they are a Junda food deck. Corvold's annoying. It's the only spell we can actually cast. Put that in the graveyard. Yield through the turn. So they have a bunch of green spells. Cool. Ooze, ooze, goose. I'll take Corvold. Get that on top. Yield through turn. So we already have blue, blue. So I think we get mountain here. Regardless of what land we draw, we can just do the thing. Did you actually draw something? You did not. Alright. Alright, that's unfortunate, but dealable. Alright, that's adorable and obnoxious at the same time. So, do I really want to give them another draw with Chandra? I think the answer to that is no. So I will cast Swift End. Goose is annoying, but in the end I don't particularly care about it. Top, top. So do this correctly. Veraska, leave Murderous Rider on top. Cast Stomp on the Goose. Yep. So I could Murderous Rider that. And just get this bad boy into play. Short answer is done. No discarding. Okay, that's admittedly annoying. Sure. Sure. Fires of Invention. this, activate this. So, Corvold Scavenging Ooze Stuff Deck. Alright, so Corvold. Fake Cursed King. Alright. Cards we probably want. Probably want Lava Coil. Probably want Kalitas. Might be interested in Ritual of Soot. Pelican Sheath. 2 copies of Omen of the Sea. And most of the Thought Erasures. Maybe leave in like 2. Shave a Cavalier of Gales. So I mean, we're probably going to get Thoughtseize, so it's just better to turn on Thoughtseize. Yep, whatever. Do you take our Thought Erasure? Do you take our Fires of Invention? Gives away information, but at this point I don't particularly care. Do not want another land right now. It's got nothing. Black and blue. I was gonna say, feels like my yard's gonna be stomped. Rebel Master. I don't particularly care about slaughter games. Guess if they named Sweltering Suns, I could be in some trouble here. Down to the yard. Alright, so you currently have... Sure. We just trade 1 for 1. Especially now, we just trade 1 for 1. And not particularly care. So what do they name with slaughter games is the interesting part. Sure. Okay, sure. Annoying, but fun-ish. Cavalier Gales. Put Sweltering Suns and a mountain back on top. Actually, I probably should have left the mountain in my hand. That way I could double spell next turn. Corvold here would be kind of annoying. So just play on Swift Ending, huh? Alright, left land on top, which is nice. Yep. There's a Swift End. I'm very interested in leaving that in my deck. I guess discard one of their cards in their hand. Slaughter Games. Yep, just draw Bone Crusher. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think I specifically care about Murderous Rider. Graxa. Cool. So I guess we get rid of what here is the question. So let's do this. Draw some lands. So for now, put back this and Bone Crusher. Shock this in. Go ahead and do that. Actually, I should have left something not Cletus in my hand. Sure. In the end, I don't think it particularly matters here. All right, sweet. Nice, we'll be back with the wrap up. So, thought process with the Fires of Invention deck here so far. I think this shell is in a decent place. I don't know, tweaking the details against like the inverter decks and some other things, if this deck is quite up to par yet to hang with the big dogs. We did get kind of blasted there by Shram Auras, and we did get hit by a close matchup, but ultimately lost to Inverter. I don't know what tweaks to make with the deck quite yet. I think the deck definitely... We answer at least one question. The deck does have the power to hang in Pioneer still. Do I think it's a tier 1 deck quite yet? By no means. Do I think this is the best version of the deck? Don't think so. I think this is kind of a necessary evil in kind of a combo-based meta. It's definitely possible we should be running Thoughtseize and Thought Erasure over some of this other nonsense. It's possible we're supposed to run like 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Thought Erasure, and then run 2 more Thought Erasure on the sideboard, give us enough disruption to potentially counteract Dimir Inverter. I think as far as the rest of the format that isn't Dimir Inverter, I think the deck has the power and the consistency to hang. You saw us beat Blue-White there pretty easily, all things considered. We did draw fortunately well, even for a mull to 5 in game 1 when we won. I think this deck is decent at playing games without Fires of Invention. I think people bringing in extraction effects against us is kind of pointless. We have a lot of win cons. Not saying it can't matter, but I don't think stripping us of like Cavalier Flames or Fires of Invention is enough to win the game on its own. I think there's enough interaction in this deck to be pretty decent. That said, we are soft to anything that can get above 3 or 4 toughness, or as we noted against the Shram Auras deck. So I imagine the green aggressive decks can be a problem if we can't close out the game quickly enough. Maybe that's the reason to run Ritual of Soot. We could also potentially run the red 4-mana sweeper or some Hours of Devastation somewhere. But I do think Storm's Wrath is the card I was thinking of. But I don't think that plays quite as well with our creatures. I think it's really a matter of what you want to beat. I think we're decent against the small creature decks. I think we can hang in the mid-range matchups. I think that was kind of a success against that Jund mid-range deck that we just squared off against. Also pretty good against the Hardened Scales deck. Beat Blue-White. Obviously lost some other closer matchups. I do think we might need to go down the curve a little bit with our interaction, especially Thoughtseize. Omen of the Sea is a filler spot. The third and fourth copies of Bone Crusher Giant are kind of filler spots. Bolus, as much as I like the card, is kind of a filler spot as well. So if we felt we needed more interaction, we could potentially cut some cards there. Beyond that, I don't know what else we could do to improve the combo matchups, honestly. So felt like we were decent against control. Felt like we were decent against mid-range, but it feels like we might need one or two more pieces against the Dimir deck. Although I suspect it's probably like a 45-55 matchup. I think they're a little bit more favored. Their deck is a bit more consistent with Dig Through Time and such. I think we would have, if we would have ripped a discard spell at that one point in game number 1, I think we had a good chance to win. That's why I was kind of like questioning my opponent's sequencing. But overall, pretty good showing for the first set of the deck. I do think the deck does have the power to compete in Pioneer, but I do think it still needs some tweaking and some work. So, anyways, this has been John for MTG Nexus.